What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to All Things Film. Today I'm doing a review for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4, titled Some Guy. And just before I get started, it's a general spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking about stuff that happened in this episode, so I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. But at the end of that last episode, Episode 3, we kind of got left with a cliffhanger. You know, all the Kingdomers got shot down, and we had to wait a week to find out. And this week, we did find out that literally all the Kingdomers died except Ezekiel, Jerry, and Carol. And that really sucks because the Kingdom has really good secondary characters. Like I think their secondary characters are probably the best out of the Hilltop and Alexandria. Like they have really funny people. You know, like Jerry. I'm sure he was in like I would count him as a secondary character, but he's someone that people love and like. So and you know Daniel, Alvaro, you know Diane. These are all people that these are all characters that people love, and you know Daniel's death was really sad, and seeing all of them come back as walkers was sad. And Alvaro survived the gunfire, and I was really happy about that because I thought he would have survived. He was one of my favorite Kingdomers, and then this douchebag comes over here and just shoots him, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, I did not expect that. You know, the Kingdom went from 100 to 0 like so quickly. You know, they were winning so much, and you know stuff went really bad for them. But this son of a bitch got what he deserved by my man Jerry. You know, when Jerry stabbed him or cut him in half with the axe, oh, that was something that was amazing to see. But this guy, speaking of this guy, he was telling Ezekiel some stuff that I think is really gonna change him. You know, it did change him. This episode did change Ezekiel. It's gonna affect him moving forward, and it just and you can tell starting like right as he sees Jerry, he's like, "Don't call me king, don't call me your majesty," because this guy was saying it's all make believe and stuff, and like you're just making yourself feel good, and like Ezekiel probably now thinks that it's his fault that is you know the Kingdomers died, and the Kingdomers have family and stuff, so that makes it worse. Because the episode started with him giving a speech at the kingdom before you know the whole war started. It was a kind of like a flashback. But now Ezekiel feels that it's his fault because you know the kingdom was jumped on top of him to protect him. But that's not like I don't. It's not Ezekiel's fault at all. You know, Ezekiel's not a selfish person. You know, all season he's been saying, even like last season when the war started, episode 16, he was saying like protect yourself, don't protect me. Like Ezekiel's not a selfish person at all. Like he's not like protect me, I'm your king, I'm your majesty. Like these people respect him and they're loyal to him because he built what now the kingdom where their families are safe. And Ezekiel, I don't think Ezekiel should not be blamed whatsoever. And if you blame Ezekiel, you're a meanie face. But uh but Carol, let's talk about Carol for a second. Carol was in the she single-handedly took out this outpost basically, and which is kind of crazy. Like she didn't get shot at all, and she's insane. But she was trying to stop the 50 cal guns, but that failed. That mission failed because she went to go help Jerry and Ezekiel. But but Daryl and Rick, there was a little bit of them in the episode too. It was mostly a Kingdom episode, but we had a little bit of Daryl and Rick too. I really like the Daryl and Rick like story arc, like a duo. I really like how they're all together so far. In the preview for next week, it seems like they're still together. Well, I think they went their separate ways towards the end, but we're getting a lot of Rick and Daryl, and that's something people should be happy about because I'm sure people are always asking about that. And Carol goes to help Ezekiel and Jerry, and they try to go find their way back to the kingdom. You know, because they're weak now. They have to. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're just gonna go fight with the Hilltop or Alexandria. Like they can't be their own group really, unless they have more fighters at the kingdom, which we don't know yet. But Rick and Daryl have this car chase and they get the gun successfully. It was pretty badass when Rick jumped on top of the car or in the side of the car. It was pretty funny. Rick was like, or Daryl was like, "You look like shit." Like after all that, this is the first thing he said to Rick was like, "You look like shit." Made me laugh. But they successfully got the guns, the 50 cal guns, and that's a huge advantage for Alexandria and the survivors because those guns, I think those were the guns that shot down the Kingdomers, and you saw how much damage they did. So you know those guns are a huge advantage for Rick and his groups. And so so back to Ezekiel and the King. You know they had a tough episode. You know this episode's definitely gonna change Ezekiel. Um, and then one last spoiler warning before I say this, but rest in peace, my baby girl Shiva. It was so sad to see Shiva. It really didn't make sense because how does like maybe like 6, 7 walkers take down a whole ass tiger? And how much do tigers weigh? Like 500, 600 pounds, I'm pretty sure. Like there's no way the walkers took down Shiva. Maybe she was scared. I don't know. But it does make sense because it was in the comics and I saw it coming. Like I always see stuff coming because of the comics and stuff, but I'm never ready for it. And I was still sad when I saw this. And Ezekiel had a tough day. He had a tough day. He lost his soldiers, he lost loved ones, and he lost his tiger. The one thing he had, the one thing he had pre-apocalypse. You know, like I think Shiva was the last person he knew before before all this stuff went down, and that was really sad to see. But a lot of people are saying it's because of CGI, and I understand that makes sense because I'm sure CGI tigers cost a lot of money, and you know Shiva was not a character that was gonna probably stay here for long, and her death makes sense, but it's still sad. So overall, I thought it was a really good episode. You know, Cooper Andrews who plays Jerry and Kari Payton who plays Ezekiel. Amazing performances by them. You know that scene when they were at the toxic wasteland and Jerry was like, "I can't leave you. You're my king," and then Ezekiel yells back like, "No, I'm not your king. I'm not your majesty." Like the whole scene gave me chills, and it was a really emotional, action-packed episode. Like it wasn't very action. It wasn't a lot of action. There was action here and there. Obviously, like the car chase, that was probably like the highlight of the action, and killing. There was walkers, obviously, but I think this is more of an emotional episode. It's gonna be an episode that turns Ezekiel's character around. 360. Like he's a completely different person. He's probably gonna try to give up the whole king and majesty thing, but obviously these kingdomers aren't gonna like say, okay, yes, if he's finally letting it go. Like no, they like it, they embrace it, because Ezekiel made what is called the kingdom. He deserves this respect, and even though he feels like it's his fault, it's not really his fault, and I'm sure nobody blames him because Ezekiel deserves the respect he gets. So next week's episode is called The Big Scary You, and in the preview we saw it's a sanctuary episode, so we're finally gonna see Negan again, and Gabriel. They were stuck in that trailer from episode 1, and then it was really intense because Gavin was like, Gavin said that someone in here caused what happened out there, and we saw Simon look at Dwight. So I don't know, they're always tricky with the trailers and stuff, so we'll see where that goes. I don't know if Simon knows that Dwight's playing both sides, but we'll have to wait and see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the episode, and stay tuned for more Walking Dead content, and thank you guys for watching. And until next time, peace.